All right, let's talk about getting into the fueling station business here in South Africa. We're going to sketch out a simple guide, almost like a chalkboard plan, to help you fuel your success. So let's jump right in. So, right off the bat, you might be thinking, filling stations? Really? Isn't that kind of old news? I mean, with all the talk about new energy, it's a totally fair question. But, the numbers, well, they tell a completely different story, especially right here in South Africa. Just look at this, 466,000. That's nearly 500,000 barrels of oil. And that's not per year or per month. That's how much South Africa uses every single day. So yeah, this is definitely not a dying industry. It's got this incredibly powerful, super consistent demand. Honestly, for the right entrepreneur, it's like a modern day gold rush. Okay, so let's dig into that gold rush idea. Why is the opportunity actually bigger now than it's ever been? Well, it's because the whole game has changed. The best, most successful stations today, there's so much more than just a place to fill up your tank. This is the key right here. You have to think of modern stations as these little mini retail ecosystems. The real money, the thing that makes the business strong and resilient, isn't just in the petrol or diesel. Nope. It's in becoming that one-stop shop, that convenient destination that solves a bunch of different problems for your customers all at once. And when you start thinking that way, it all clicks. You're not just selling fuel. What you're really selling is convenience. You've got car washes, ATMs so people can grab cash, maybe some fast food for a quick bite, groceries for that last-minute stop, even things like airtime and parcel collection points. Every single one of these is another way to make money, to boost your profits, and to make your station the absolute go-to spot in the neighborhood. Okay, so you're probably getting excited about the potential here. But hold on a second. Before you start dreaming about coffee machines and car wash brushes, there's a really big, non-negotiable step we have to tackle first: the legal stuff. It can feel like a maze, but let's map it out together. Really, it boils down to 3 main approvals you have to get from the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy, the DMRE. First up, you need the land use rights. That's just making sure the spot you picked is actually zoned for a filling station. Second, you'll need an environmental authorization. This is to prove you're following the rules of the National Environmental Management Act, or NEMA. And third, you'll apply for your site and your retail licenses at the same time. The magic document that gets this whole ball rolling, it's a form called DMRE 39. And this is probably the most important thing to remember about all the legal stuff. It's all about preparation and doing things by the book. You've got to be patient. You've got to be meticulous. I'm telling you, trying to cut corners on the paperwork is the absolute fastest way to get a big no stamped on your application. Preparation is, well, it's everything at this stage. All right, so once you're on the right track with all the legal approvals, you hit a major fork in the road. This is one of the biggest decisions you're going to make. Are you going to team up with a big established brand, or are you going to go it alone and build your own thing from scratch? So let's put these two paths side by side. If you go the franchise route, boom, you get instant brand recognition. People already know and trust the name. You get marketing help, proven systems. It's a much safer way to get started. On the other hand, if you go independent, you're the boss. Complete freedom. You set your own prices. You choose exactly what you sell. But, and it's a big but, all that freedom means you have to build your brand from zero and handle all those tough supplier negotiations all by yourself. And speaking of franchises, let's not beat around the bush when it comes to the cost. We're talking about a serious investment here. The price tag can be anywhere from 1.5 million all the way up to 20 million rand, or even more. And here's the kicker. Most of these big brands will want you to have 30 to 35% of that amount in cash, money that isn't tied up in any loans, before they'll even sit down and have a conversation with you. Okay, so you've picked your path, franchise or independent. Now we need to talk about the 2 big engines that are going to make this whole thing run: getting the money and finding the absolute perfect spot. When it comes to funding, your best friend is a killer business plan. That's non-negotiable. With that in hand, you can look at the usual suspects, like commercial mortgages or find lenders who specialize in this kind of business. But definitely don't forget to look into development funds. For example, the National Empowerment Fund has something called the Mbevu Fund, and they've specifically set aside 50 million rand to help Black entrepreneurs get into this exact business. It's absolutely worth checking out. But listen, you could have all the money in the world, and it won't save you from a bad location. In the filling station business, geography really is destiny. It's that simple. You've got to be where the people are, where the cars are. We're talking busy intersections, main roads people use to get to work. You need high visibility and super easy access. A great location isn't just a nice to have, it's everything. It's your lifeblood. So let's pull all of this together now. We've covered the legal side, the business models, the money, the location. Now let's talk about the final piece of the puzzle, the one thing that truly builds a business that lasts. Because at the end of the day, it is not just about selling fuel. I mean, anybody can do that, right? Think of the fuel as the invitation. It's the reason a customer pulls off the road and onto your forecourt. The real magic, the thing that keeps them coming back, is what happens next. What it's really about is creating a community hub. You want to be the place people count on, the place they trust. They're not just stopping for a full tank. They're stopping for their morning coffee. They're grabbing bread and milk on the way home. They're using your ATM because they know it's safe. When you become that place for people, that is how you build a business that's going to be around for a long, long time. So as you start thinking about this incredible opportunity, remember, the biggest question you need to ask yourself isn't about the type of pumps or the brand of oil. It's about the people you'll serve, the community you'll become a part of. The real question is, what will you build?